Good morning, class. Today we are going to begin with the third part of lesson number 8, that is the skeletal system and the skin. Now to begin with the appendicular skeleton. Now we have learned earlier what is appendicular skeleton. The human body has 2 arms and 2 legs. The different parts of the arms and legs have several bones which are connected together by the joints. That is called the appendicular skeleton. Okay, children? Moving further, observe a human skeleton in your school laboratory for a picture of a skeleton and classify the bones in our body into 4 types. Discuss the functions of the bones. You can do this by just looking at the skeletal system, a skeleton. Try this. Move the different parts of your body from the head to the toe and observe the different places at which they can bend or turn. The bones in our body are connected to each other by the means of ligaments. The joining thing is called the ligaments, the joining of bones. Now you need something to join 2 hard things, no? That is called the ligament. Now just imagine if your backbone was a single straight bone, was it possible for us to bend it, to bend down and pick up some things? Next, come to your arms. There is a joint in your upper arm and lower arm. Now if there wouldn't have been a joint in your arm, that is, there would be one single piece called arm, no upper and no lower. So would you be able to bend your hand, fold your hand to eat, to write, to pick up things? So all these things which our body is able to bend and do various things is able only because of the joints in our body. Now coming to joints, movable joints and immovable joints. There are 2 types of joints in our body, that is movable and immovable. Joints, movable and immovable. Now movable joints, bones can move. Example, the bones of the arms and the legs. We can move it, no? We run, jump, skip, jog, we write, we hold, we eat. So many things done with the limbs. Now immovable joints, bones cannot move. They don't move at all. They are fixed. Example, bones of the skull other than the lower jaw. The lower jaw only moves. Remaining all the bones in our skull are immovable joints. Immovable bones. They don't move. They are fixed. So we can only move the lower jaw. While speaking also, you just observe, you make a note of it. When you are speaking also, only your lower jaw moves. While eating also. So other than the lower jaw, there are no other bones in the skull which can move. Moving further, types of bones. Now let us study some types of movable joints. Hinge joint. This type of a joint allows the movements of the bones only in one direction. It moves in 180-degree angle. Example, the elbow and the knee joint. Just try this and see your elbow and your knee. How much can you move it? You can move it only in 180-degree angle. You know what is 180-degree angle? A semicircle shape. So it is movable only till that extent. You can't move it further. Now just take your right hand, stretch it further straight and bend it. How you will bend? You will bend it towards your shoulder in the upper direction. Can you do it below? In the lower direction, can you do it? No. So that is not possible for the knee also. So this type of a joint is called a hinge joint. Okay, children? This is called hinge joint moving in one direction. Okay, this is the part of our body. Now coming to ball and socket joint. This is ball and socket joint. You can see the ball and the ball is fixed into a socket. This is called a ball and a socket joint. In this type of joint, the bones can move in two or more directions in a 360-degree angle. For example, your shoulder and your hip joint. Now, you can try this also. You can move your arm full in a circle in the front side or back side. You can try it clockwise and anti-clockwise. You can move it in a full circle. Now your full circle is 360-degree angle. So your shoulder and your hip joints can move in a full circle, that is in a 360-degree angle. So which joint is that? It is a ball and a socket joint. Now where are ball and socket joint located in your body? It is your shoulder and your hip joint. Hip joint, shoulder and your hip joint. Now this is the type of bone. Here it is shown in your body. Okay. Now gliding joint. The third joint is the gliding joint. In this type of joint, the bones can only slide over each other. Example, the wrist and the ankle joints. The wrist and the ankle, they can only glide. They can move further. You know what is gliding, no? Moving further, no, in no other direction. In slightly they can move over each other. It is like this, and it is here in your fingers, and it is there in your ankles. So how many types of joints did we learn? We learned 3 joints. Now moving further, which organ helps us to sense whether something is hot or cold, rough or smooth, etc.? You have learned this in your smaller classes. Which is that sense organ? That is the skin. Right, that is the skin. Now the skin is an important and large organ of all living things. The skin has hair. There are nails on the skin at the tips of the fingers and the toes. The skin gives us sense of touch. The skin is an important sensory organ of the body. Now children, it is a very important organ and it is the large organ. How it is large organ? Because it covers our full body. Now this is the skin which covers our internal organs. The internal organs are protected by the cavities, that is the rib cage, the skull. The bones are covered with flesh, that is the muscles. Correct? Now these things all are covered with the skin. So it is an important and a large organ of all the living things. It has hair, you all know it has hair. The hair comes out of the pores on the skin. Tiny holes, pores means the tiny holes on the skin from where the hairs come out. There are nails and on the tips of the finger and the toes. Now we will learn something more about our skin. The outermost covering of the body is called the skin. Now what is skin? The outermost covering of the body is called the skin. Now the structure of the skin. How is the skin made? What is the structure? The human skin is made up of 2 main layers. The outermost layer is called the epidermis and the layer below it is called the dermis. 2 main layers are there, children. There are actually 7 layers, but we are going to learn about the main layers. The 2 main layers are the outermost, which we can see, we can feel, we can touch, that is the epidermis. Below it is the dermis. Now below the dermis there is a network of blood vessels and the nerve fibers. Now what is below the what is below the dermis? Below the dermis there is a network of blood vessels. Blood vessels means the veins and the arteries. The blood vessels carry the blood to all parts of the body, no? They are like tubes. So they are situated in full body, throughout the body, under the dermis. Where we can find them? Under the dermis. They are a network of blood vessels and nerve fibers. The subcutaneous layer under this network maintains the normal body temperature. Now which layer? It is the subcutaneous layer under this network. Now under the dermis is the blood vessels. Under the blood vessels is the network. They maintain normal body temperature. The epidermis has various layers. Now what does epidermis has? It has various layers. Moving further, can you tell what happens when we walk or play in the hot sun? When we walk or play in the sun, we get tired. But at the same time, our skin becomes wet. This is because of sweat. You know, you keep on sweating. When do we sweat more? We sweat more during summer season or when we do hard physical work, that is playing, running, jogging or something very hard in which our physical body is required. At that time we sweat. In the skin there are glands which secrete sweat. They are called sweat glands. As salivary gland is there which secretes saliva. In the same way there are sweat glands in the body which gives out sweat. Now sweat is also a kind of wastage which our body gives out. A form of wastage. After playing in the hot sun or after hard physical labor, the temperature of the body rises. Then sweat is released. It helps to reduce the temperature of the body. Our body temperature usually remains constant at approximately 37 degrees C. Now this C is read as Celsius. It is written as capital C, but it is read as Celsius. 37 degree Celsius. No need to write the full spelling. This is the abbreviation, the symbol. It is written as C. Okay, children? Now, you can see this function of the skin. The functions of the skin: protecting the internal parts of the body like muscles, bones, organ systems, etc. Second point, help preserve the moisture in the body. Third is synthesizing vitamin D. Fourth point is releasing sweat to regulate body temperature. Fifth is giving protection from the heat and the cold. And the sixth is the skin functions as the sensory organ of the touch. Right, children? Now, the first point is it protects the internal organs, the cavities, the bones, the skulls, the heart, the brain, everything is protected by the skin. It helps to preserve the moisture, the water content in the water level in the body. Synthesizing vitamin D. Vitamin D, you know, we get from sunlight. So it synthesizes, it helps to convert vitamin D and it helps it mix with the blood and it being very helpful for our body because it makes our bones strong. Releasing sweat to regulate body temperature. Sorry. It regulates body temperature by releasing sweat. When the body temperature rises, there is heat in the body. It is made normal by throwing out the sweat from the body, giving protection from heat and cold. The skin protects from heat and cold. The skin functions are the sensory organs of our touch. It tells us whether the skin is, whether the things are hard, smooth, rough, soft. So these things are the functions of the skin. So children, that was all for today. We'll continue in our next lecture. Till the time, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.